The dry wind blew across the plains of Red River, carrying with it dust, the scent of hay, and the faint echo of a town that seemed stuck in time. At the edge of the town, a small figure stood near a corral, her shoulders tense, her dark eyes reflecting both anger and sadness. Kimimila, a 20-year-old native woman, had grown used to the jeers of the townsfolk. Her skin, darker than most, was mocked, her laughter ridiculed, and her very presence turned into gossip among the townspeople. They whispered that she was worthless, that her life would lead to shame, that she was nothing more than an outsider. "I ain't staying here," she whispered almost to herself, the words carrying the weight of years of humiliation. She had dreamed of leaving, of finding a place where she could work in peace, where her worth wasn't measured by the color of her skin. But before she could take another step, she felt a presence behind her. Dakota, a 30-year-old rancher with broad shoulders and hands calloused from years of labor, stood quietly watching her. He had been observing Kimimila for weeks, noticing the cruelty she faced and feeling a pull toward her courage and quiet dignity. He said nothing at first, letting the wind carry his presence. Then, in a voice that was steady and gentle, he said, "You're not going anywhere alone." Kimimila turned sharply, ready to protest, but Dakota took a step forward and offered his hand. "Come with me. You'll be safe at my cabin." For a moment she hesitated. Trust did not come easily. But the strength in his eyes, the calm assurance in his voice, made her heart hesitate to say no. Slowly she placed her hand in his and he guided her to his horse. With careful hands, he lifted her onto the saddle, and together they rode to the outskirts of his ranch, away from the eyes of those who had mocked her for too long. The cabin was modest but sturdy, built from oak logs with a stone fireplace at its center. The surrounding land was wide open, fields stretching toward the horizon, dotted with cattle and wildflowers. Dakota led Kimimila inside, helping her down gently. "This is your home as long as you want it," he said. "You can work in the fields, help with the house, or just rest. But here no one will harm you." Kimimila's hands shook as she looked around. She had never imagined a place like this. Safety, warmth, and kindness, it was almost too much to believe. I don't know what to say," she whispered. "You don't need to say anything," Dakota replied, a small smile playing on his lips. "Just stay." The first weeks were quiet. Kimimila learned to tend the fields, feed the livestock, and manage the cabin chores. Each task brought a sense of purpose she had never felt in Red River. She rose early with the sun, her hands roughened by the soil, her back aching but her spirit growing stronger with each passing day. Dakota watched her silently, admiration in his eyes. He respected her independence, but he could not hide the affection growing in his heart. Word of Kimimila's presence spread quickly in the town. Whispers turned into open warnings. "Don't marry her," some said. "Her children will be dark like her. You'll bring shame to your family." Dakota clenched his jaw at these remarks. The ignorance and prejudice of the townsfolk only strengthened his resolve. He would not allow their hatred to dictate his life, nor would he let Kimimila suffer because of it. One evening, as the sun dipped low over the horizon, Kimimila sat on the porch of the cabin, staring at the endless plains. "They'll never accept me," she said softly, her voice tinged with sadness. "Why would anyone like me when they can only see my skin?" Dakota sat beside her, his hand brushing gently against hers. "Let them talk," he said. "I don't care what they think. I care about you. I see you, Kimimila, for who you truly are." Her eyes widened. For years she had been invisible, judged only by the shallow eyes of others. You mean it?" "I do," he replied. "I love you. And I will marry you no matter what anyone says." Tears filled her eyes. She had never felt seen, never felt loved for who she was. The weight of years of mockery and isolation seemed to lift, replaced by a warmth she had never known. I love you too," she whispered. Days turned into weeks, and their love grew quietly but steadily. They worked together in the fields, shared meals, and spent long evenings beneath the starlit sky. Yet the townsfolk's disapproval continued. Rumors spread, cruel words were muttered, but Dakota's resolve never wavered. One morning, as the market day began in the town, Dakota strode into the square, his boots kicking up dust, his chest broad and proud. "I have something to say," he called, his voice carrying across the crowd. "I love Kimimila, and I will marry her. If any of you have a problem with it, that is your burden, not mine." The townsfolk gasped. Some faces showed shock, others anger, but Dakota's gaze was unwavering. He had faced their prejudice before, and he would face it again. Kimimila, watching from the cabin window, felt her heart swell with pride and love. Preparations for the wedding began immediately. Kimimila, once shy and hesitant, now moved with quiet confidence. She adorned the cabin with wildflowers, baked bread for the ceremony, and even helped Dakota train a few new horses for the festivities. Her laughter became a frequent sound, mingling with the clatter of hooves and the whispering wind through the fields. On the day of the wedding, the sun rose high, casting a golden glow over the plains. Dakota waited at the corral, his heart racing with anticipation. Kimimila appeared, radiant in a simple dress embroidered with delicate patterns that mirrored the wildflowers around them. Their eyes met, and in that moment the past, with all its pain and mockery, seemed to vanish. The ceremony was held beneath the open sky. No grand church, no elaborate decorations, just the endless plains, the wind, and the sun as witnesses. Dakota took Kimimila's hands in his voice steady and full of conviction. "I promise to love and protect you through every storm, every hardship, and every joy." "I promise to stand by you," Kimimila replied, her voice unwavering. "To face the world with you, to love you with all my heart." As they sealed their vows with a kiss, a cheer erupted from the crowd. Though not everyone approved, there was a sense of respect, of acknowledgement that love had triumphed over ignorance. In the months that followed, Dakota and Kimimila built a life together. The ranch thrived under their care. Crops grew tall and healthy, cattle roamed freely, and the cabin was filled with warmth and laughter. Slowly, the townsfolk's hostility faded, replaced with a reluctant acceptance of the couple's union. Kimimila's dark skin, once a source of ridicule, became a symbol of her strength and beauty. Dakota's unwavering support showed that love and courage could overcome even the deepest prejudice. Together they forged a life built on trust, respect, and devotion. Years later, the ranch was alive with children's laughter. Dakota and Kimimila would sit on the porch of their cabin, hands intertwined, watching their children run through the fields. "I told you we'd make it," Dakota said, smiling as the wind played with Kimimila's hair. "And I knew we would," she replied, leaning her head on his shoulder. "I'm glad I stayed." The plains of Red River had seen much: storms, droughts, hardship, and loneliness. Yet in the heart of those endless lands, two people had found love, strength, and a home. They had faced prejudice, scorn, and doubt, yet had emerged victorious. Their love became a story whispered on the wind, a tale of resilience and devotion that would be remembered long after the dust had settled and the sun had set over the endless plains. Kimimila and Dakota's life was not perfect. There were challenges, hard days, and moments of doubt, but together they had created something enduring. A home filled with laughter, a ranch thriving under their hands, and a love that had weathered the harshest storms. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, they would sit together, hearts intertwined, knowing that the world outside might never fully understand them, but they had each other, and that was enough. In the end, Red River did not just have a story of prejudice and mockery, it had a story of courage, love, and triumph. A story of a woman who refused to be broken by cruelty, and a man who refused to let love be dictated by ignorance. Together they created a life of hope, a legacy that would last far longer than the plains themselves. And so, beneath the endless sky, with the wind whispering through the grasses and the sun casting its golden glow, Dakota and Kimimila lived, loved, and endured, a testament to the power of love in the wild, untamed West.